This is Krista here with you again today, and hopefully you all are enjoying the nice weather out. It's a beautiful day today with sunny skies up here in Indiana, and just doing another video this weekend, and if you can hear some light scratching, that is my little dog trying to scratch the wall. I'm not sure why, but hopefully I can add some music and you won't be able to hear it as much. So I got this great book last night on trauma, and really just kind of continuing studying about this lately, because there has been so much trauma in my own life. And with the coronavirus happening right now, a lot of people are also going through states of trauma. I'm really beginning to focus on this right now, and just read a little bit of it last night, and then I lost the book. Somehow it did not download correctly. So I'm just kind of like, where do I begin with my own questions, and with what I've learned so far in the AA and CODA that I've been studying lately. There is just so much when it comes to trauma-related things like CPTSD, complex trauma, versus post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and the differences between the two. If you're not aware, as I was explaining to a friend earlier today, the difference where post-traumatic stress disorder comes from when maybe you've been in a car accident, you've got your fallen with a sickness of some kind, or a disease like cancer, or been through surgery, car accidents, and things that have happened like a one-time trauma event, war, and so forth, where complex trauma gets a little bit more into when trauma is happening to you every day, especially in cases where you live in a place where you're being abused, or even jobs that you hold, like you're a doctor, or just handling a lot of traumatic events every day, where you can't really get away from it, and they can happen periodically during the day, whether you're getting emotionally messed with, like gaslighting, psychological trauma, or physical trauma, or whatever it may be, where it's ongoing. This is called complex trauma, CPTSD. It can begin when you are a child, and maybe you have a mentally disordered or sick parent, or you're more in a much more controlling, manipulative, narcissistic family, where you can't get away from it. You're kind of left helpless without a way to control or do anything about it. The best thing for myself that I've been learning greatly lately is learning boundaries, like I've been talking about lately, and how it can affect things where you have not learned about these types of people, or ways in relating to them or understanding them, and where the manipulation keeps going on, and can really leave you coping more and more, whether it's eating more food. It can even cause more disorders like anorexia, higher states of mental personality disorders such as bipolar or borderline, whether it's mild to heavier states, anxiety disorders, depressive disorders, and when we begin learning about why this is happening and what they are doing, not only do you find other people like this, we find ourselves like putting other people down, and especially we can abuse ourselves. And when we learn different ways to live and stop manipulating ourselves or others, or learn how to use boundaries to let other people stop other people from manipulating us in hurtful ways, do we stop reaching for not so healthy coping methods such as using drugs, food, overworking, constantly keeping ourselves busy, so we don't think about it, but although it's still there at the end of the day. And when we do start creating better coping skills, better ways of relaxing, unwinding through meditation, mindfulness, assertiveness, can we really begin in learning that we do have more control when our minds start learning better ways to care for ourselves, to be nice to ourselves, and therefore letting go of the need to control others or our, just whatever our environments or whatever, to become more at peace with ourselves and win in a different way. I know it's really hard for when you're have like a narcissistic relationship, in a relationship with a narcissistic person, how it's really hard to win. It's impossible to win with these people in conversations and so forth. But when we do start learning about new boundaries and things, the fight can be a hard one to go through, and you might find yourself being alone, choosing to be alone more, or finally picking different friends and living in healthier lifestyles where we can change our habits to better ones. But I think one of the most powerful habits that we can learn and change is within ourselves. How are we talking to ourselves? How are we treating others? And what we expect and will tolerate from different people. It can be really trapping to feel like you can't get away from the situation or those people. It can feel very isolating and just irritating when these people are constantly interrogating you, using that information against you later to manipulate you with, and using gaslighting, where they are telling you, if you are not constantly people pleasing, that we learned from a very early age, and making another person happy, where we are not even allowed to pay attention to ourselves, what we really might be needing at that moment, to take care of ourselves or learn, and continue with success in our lives. and to where we are not being sabotaged or taken away, whether we are going back to school, where we are not being interrupted by, did you get this done, did you get that done, or when things are everything is left for you to do, especially the women out there, where you're constantly left with messes to clean up, or not having the advantage of transportation, if they have cut you off from things where you have trouble continuing on with whatever project that you are working on. It can be very boring and depressing, and sometimes can even create states of anxiety where you have panic attacks, and the trauma just adds up over time, over the years. And if you are an addict to anything, can be really hard when we finally stop and are able to create minimum contact or lesser contact with these people, or teach them the boundaries that you need and space for yourself, while letting go of the need to control others. We start realizing that we can control the choices that we are making. To stop and finally have that time to confront all the trauma and pain that we've been through, meditation has become very important in my life. Just times where we can stop and self-care and breathe, learning to maybe deep breathe, start doing the things that we like and enjoy, and creating time for these things, creating different lifestyles that are different, but you're actually happier and more fulfilled in your life than constantly being bugged and hammered down by other people's demands, or even some of your own demands that are just way too much pressure on you. And constantly going, and you don't have time for this or that. Can you start paying attention to your family or your children more, and stop creating that we have to use to cope? We start really dealing with that pain inside of us, and it can be a very painful. It can be extremely painful to finally stop and look at, which is why I love my therapist today, or having that support buddy to talk to, maybe that person that you can relate with, whether it's letting go of some of the people that, if you don't join their go, let's go use, or join another venture on the job, when you're always trying to create more and more money, where you just feel stuck and you have no time for anything else, when the pressure is too great, when we want to go use because it helps relax us, but in the end we are left with these horrible hangovers, more sickness, or even more incarceration, or whatever it is, fines fall upon us. Can we start weighing the pros and cons more of things, trusting our guts more? If you go do that, how does it make you feel? Does it trouble you? Just finding safer places and learning who is safe and who is not. I might repeat myself a lot on here. But as I read more books by Lisa A. Romano, and start studying further into states of trauma, where we really feel like, it can really make us feel like there's something wrong with us when we feel troubled all the time and are not able to release these states of anxiety and trauma that we're not able to let go of because we were never taught that. Learning can be really great and essential and powerful. Learning that we can win against these types of people and situations in a different way. And that we do have the power, and we can stop feeling so helpless. We can stop feeling so sorry for ourselves, and just really facing that pain. We can go through it and get beyond it. Change can be hard, but I really do feel like it does feel better when we can start letting go of the need to control and just let other people have their own choices, whether they're good or bad. Because in realizing that the choices that we do make are usually healthy ones that come from our gut, and in learning better choice making, can we realize that we don't need to boss that other person around or give you their advice too much, because that person also instinctively knows what's in their best interest, and to continue on every day. I usually meditate in the morning, and I feel more like I'm guided to the right things and what I should be doing, like the right path, so to speak. Following, there's Daisy, the right path, and being led to the right places and the right people at the right time. Even when it comes to our health, bettering our health, and we can kind of be a guide to other people as well that are around us, and it just forms more of a synchronocistical state of being and life, and it really puts a smile on my face as things do feel and become easier. But we do have to do the work and deal with and create those boundaries with others. And the more that they learn that you are not going to tolerate this or put up with that, and stay more respectable of their own needs and stuff, and to where you can stay respectable to your own, we create that space where it's just more an even flow, good synchronistic, coincidental feeling, and it brings more of the magic and spark back to life. So I kind of wanted to give that tidbit today, and please don't forget to give it a like if you like this video, and subscribe to further videos by tapping the bell icon at the bottom of this video. And thanks, and don't forget to keep in touch with yourself today. It does wonders.